Morning, everybody. Jason here with Tallman Tech. I made it through the craziness of the past week. I just got FSD Beta 10.5 early this morning. This is my first experience driving with it. I've got a quick test loop here that I like to run, so we're going to just kind of see how it does. Coming up here on the right, we have a unmarked road that in previous releases it would drive down the middle of the road. Obviously, it would move over if it saw cars coming, but it would have a tendency to drive down the middle, so I want to see if they've improved that at all. It's hesitating there. Didn't need to do that. Now we're coming right straight on into the sun, but it is doing a much better job of staying on the right side of the road this time. You can see if on the screen that it is actually drawing the center yellow line, even though there is not one on the road. So that's definitely a huge improvement from before. And it's doing a great job considering I can barely see because of the sun. Yeah, really much better job here. So it's just moving around to go around this car and then see how it gets right back over to the right-hand side. So if you remember from my previous videos on this street with 10.2, 3, and 4, it started to get better with 4, but it would still momentarily just jerk over to back to the center lane. This time it stayed in the right the whole time. So that is a huge improvement from 10.4 and 3 and 2. So I'm actually going to adjust my route now. See how it does taking us to the grocery store. This update has a lot of changes in it. There's a long list of tweaks and that they made. So far, as you've seen, for example, driving down an unmarked road, it did exactly as a normal driver would do. It stayed to the right. It went around cars and then moved right back into the right lane. So that's real progress there. Now, it's always had trouble pulling into this grocery store. It had a terrible time with it in 10.3, so we're going to see if there's any improvement there. And then I have another spot where it was always drawing the stop sign a little too early, and then it was stopping for the stop sign too early. So we'll test there, and then we'll do a little bit of phantom braking testing in the normal spots. It is early in the morning, so the traffic for where I live might be a little might get in the way of doing our phantom braking testing, but we'll see. I also don't have snow tires on yet, and it is a little icy up where I live. Not so much on the main roads, but I'm going to be going in to get my snow tires put on later today or later this week. Nice smooth transition. Now, this is a no right on red here, and it does not read those signs yet, or at least it didn't. Yeah, it's going to try to go ahead and go. So I'm going to disengage. So from my experience driving when I was in New York City on that infamous trip, down in the city, it wasn't making right on red at all because it's against the law. Up here, the default is that you can make a right on red unless there's a sign like there is here saying that you can't do that. So it doesn't know how to read those signs yet, and so it does not obey that particular rule. So in 10.2, it would actually, in previous builds, it would move to the left, then to the right, and then to the left again during this section of road. So far, it's staying right in the left lane, which is great. Is it actually waiting? It's waiting for this truck. Okay, so it did a great job waiting for that truck. And then the light turned to red, and so it stopped. So far, it did a great job. Okay, now it's its turn. It's waiting for this car. And okay, so it's getting a little hung up. My guess is probably because the sunlight is making it think that that light is red. So besides that, that was great. So that was an improvement as well. Yeah, that was an improvement. I'll have to come out later today when the sun is not right behind the car like this. Now, understandably, once this gets closer to actually being release ready, it doesn't matter, it's not going to matter if the sun is, in the position it's in now and it's putting too much light on the back of the stoplight. It needs to just know to make that turn. So I'm going to update my navigation again to test going around this corner here. So coming up here, there's a stop sign that it always stops way too early for, or at least it has in previous releases. So we'll see how it does with this one today. Okay, so it is still slowing down. Now, the only difference is it didn't slow down as harshly as it was in the previous builds, and it's pulling up a lot closer than it was before, which is great, because before it would stop at that stop sign a lot further back from the road, and then it would start doing its creeping too far back from the intersection, and in my opinion, it didn't feel like it was it didn't feel safe the way that it was doing it then, but that was significantly better. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go up a hill on the other side of town where we have some issues with phantom braking and see how it does with that. So let me set my navigation point. I just have to turn around here. So we're creeping for visibility, doing a great job there. And now we're gonna go. Very smooth, that was great. So now we have some dogs in the road. And wonderful, it pulled right out to avoid them. This left-hand turn, which is the other end of the stop sign that we just went through earlier, sometimes it's a little sloppy on this turn, so we'll see how it does here. We've got a car coming. It's waiting for that car. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a little push with the accelerator. So it could have been a little more assertive there. Another place where it has trouble, we'll have to come back and test this later too, is this double set of lights that's coming up here, where we have one light, then we have a train tracks, and then we have another light. It has a tendency to, it stops correctly at the first set of lights, but then if I'm the first in line, it doesn't always start going again. At least it did that in 10.4, so. So if you remember from previous videos, when I go up this hill that we're about to go up, about halfway up, there's a spot where the car frequently thinks that there's somebody on a bicycle, even though there's nobody even in the road. So we're gonna see how it handles that. I'm actually gonna disengage for just a second. I'm gonna slow the car down, and I'm gonna let the traffic get a little bit ahead of me, because it's kind of cheating for this test if there's a lead car in front of it. So we still had some braking there. Increase it to 40, because that's the speed I usually set it at. So we're going to want to pay attention to the screen here and see if it shows a person on a bicycle. Look at that. All right, excellent job. So there was some significant improvements in this release with detection, and that is the first time since I've had FSD Beta that it has not slammed on the brakes on that hill. Now, it just did it. It just slammed on the brakes there, That's a new spot, but it has always, during the day, slammed on the brakes going up that hill at that one spot. So that is another great improvement here. Well, the only thing is I had to disengage there because now that's an area it's never had trouble with before, which is turning into that right lane. I don't know if it's because the snow was over the lane marking, but I'll take the win back there for the loss right there. And I've got one more spot where we're going to check the phantom braking. At least for me, phantom braking has been a big problem ever since I got FSD Beta. Prior to FSD Beta, I never had an issue with it. But then again, my car was using the radar that it had. With FSD Beta, they switched to the Pure Vision, and it disabled the radar. And Tesla's gotten a lot of flack from that. But as each release of FSD Beta has come out, it has gotten progressively better. It just did a great right turn there. I'm going to disengage so that I can go and test the last spot for our quick check with 10.5. So I'm going to go to the bottom of the hill here. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm going to keep going straight because there was one other thing I wanted to check that's on that same street. So we'll turn our navigation, or excuse me, we'll turn FSD Beta back on right when we get on this road here. It's a little icy in spots, which with these tires, the summer tires I have on, it's not a good combination. So we're just going to be extra careful right now. Okay, so we're going to go down this hill here. And then the car is going to make a right and then another right. It's the second right that in the past it has sometimes messed up on. And then that's going to lead us to the next hill that we're going to test to see if we have any phantom braking, because we have always had it with previous builds on that hill as well. Overall, I've been extremely impressed with this update so far. I mean, I've only been driving it for a couple minutes here, but some of the common areas that it's had trouble with, it's a huge improvement from 10.4. Coming in good here. Approaching the stop sign well. Got a couple cars coming here. We'll see. It's going. It's waiting. That wasn't bad. It thought it wanted to go. Then it saw the car and it stopped and waited. But that was a good good right-hand turn. So we're coming up here on this right turn that it sometimes has trouble with. What usually happens is it'll go to make the right turn, it'll look like it's going to do fine, and then it just moves all the way to the left. Now we have a car here, which, all right, it did a great job there. It's kind of cheating when there's a car there because it gives it something a little extra to judge on, but it still did it successfully completed that turn, so I'll definitely take that as a win. It is hesitating a little bit here, which it hasn't done that before. This could be because of the sun hitting the road, and the road's pretty wet and a little bit icy. It didn't used to slow down here. Usually it slows down up in this corner coming up here. Right up here, it usually slams on the brakes. Okay, so it didn't do it. So that's another improvement. So the previous hill, it would show that there was somebody on a bicycle when there wasn't. This was happening in 10.2, 3, and 4. 10.5, it did wonderful on the other hill. And on this hill, it also used to slam on the brakes, again, a little bit back earlier in the hill. It did not do that this time as well, so that's another great improvement. So the changes that they've made are definitely translating into a better driving experience. We're going to have two left turns left, and then we will shut down for this drive. That wasn't as smooth as I would have liked it. It was checking for visibility a little bit longer than I would have. Oh, it did also used to slam on the brakes right here, so we'll see if it does that. Nope, didn't do that either. So that's definitely a huge improvement with phantom braking so far in all the normal spots. Good job going around that truck there. So overall, that was a huge win. So great improvement with 10.5. We'll continue to do more testing, and don't forget, like and subscribe. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.